The reaction is extreme. Palestinians fear arrest if they voice sympathy for Gaza civilians. Israeli security forces are seen on the streets of Jerusalem on November 3rd, 2023. Jerusalem CNN. Dua Abu Sneine was shocked when a group of police officers between 10 and 15, she said, barged into her home in East Jerusalem early on October 23. I was not even considering for a moment that they would be coming for me, she told CNN, but the police did come for her. Abu Anaine, 22nd, said she was told she was being arrested and asked to hand in her phone. When I asked why, the police officer started pushing me and snatched my phone out of my hand, she said. The officer checked Abu Snaine's phone for TikTok or Facebook. She doesn't have either. And then checked her Snapchat account, the only social media she used. The officer noticed that I hadn't posted anything. Then she went to my Watch app. I had posted a verse from the Quran, and that turned it out to be what they were after. They said I was inciting terrorism. I couldn't believe it, Abu Snaine said. The verse in question, Abu Snaine said, was God is not unaware of what the oppressors do. Abu Snaine is one of dozens of Palestinian residents and citizens of Israel to have been arrested in Israel for expressing solidarity with Gaza and its civilian population, sharing Quran praise, or showing any support for the Palestinian people since the latest war between Israel and the Palestinian militant group Hamas began last month. Zeena has asked the Israel police for comment on Abu Snaine's arrest but has received no response. Gaza has been under intense bombardment by Israeli forces after Hamas carried out gruesome terror attacks against Israel on October 7th, killing 1,400 people and taking more than 240 hostages, according to Israeli officials. Israeli security forces on the streets of Jerusalem. More than 9,000 people, including thousands of children, have been killed in Israeli strikes on Gaza since then, according to figures released Friday by the Palestinian Ministry of Health in Ramallah, drawn from sources in the Hamas-controlled enclave. The huge death toll from the Israel Defense Forces, called IDF, bombing and the unfolding humanitarian crisis in Gaza have prompted global criticism of Israel, with even some of its closest allies calling for a humanitarian pause or ceasefire. But Palestinians expressing solidarity with Gaza are facing serious consequences in Israel. The police said that any slogans in favor of Gaza or against the war mean supporting terrorism, even if you said that you are, of course, against the people being murdered. Abib Bakr, a human rights lawyer representing some of the people who have been arrested, told the CNN. The Israel police said that as of October 25, it, it had arrested 110 people since the start of the war for allegedly inciting violence and terrorism, mostly on social media. Of these arrests, only 17 resulted in indictment. Most people are released without further charges, so usually after a few days. Bakr said the low number of indictments suggested that people were being arrested for making statements that are not illegal. People have been arrested for saying their heart was with the children in Gaza, Bakr told CNN, pointing to a widely reported case of the comedian from northern Israel who was arrested after posting that praise on his social media. Not talking about the law. The Israel police says it is acting under Israel's counterterrorism law. Article 24 of this registration states that anyone who does anything to emphasize with the terror group, whether that's by publishing praises or support or encouraging, waving a flag, showing or publishing a symbol, can be arrested and jailed for up to 3 years. However, Adala, a non-governmental organization that advocates for Arab rights in Israel, said in a statement that these arrests are arbitrary and target Palestinians only. He said that many are carried out with brutal force in the middle of the night and without proper legal justification. The criteria is not whether it's illegal or not. The criteria is whether it makes the people angry or whether it's something that is against the mainstream. We are not talking about the law. We are talking about atmosphere. Bakr said, adding that discussing the context of the October 7 attacks is forbidden. You cannot ask what can drive people to commit such horrible crimes. Can you ask who failed here? Why has Hamas succeeded? No, Bakr said, pointing to numerous articles written in Israeli media that pose the same questions. They can do it, but if you are Palestinian, you cannot do this, the lawyer said, responding to an earlier question from CNN on the general increase in arrests over social media posts. Israel police said that while it firmly opposes the fundamental right to freedom of speech, it is imperative to address those who exploit this right to perilously incite violence. One of the people Bakr represents is Dalal Abu Amneh, a well-known Palestinian singer and neuroscientist who found herself arrested after turning to the police for help on October 16. Smoke rises after Israel airstrike as the attacks continue in Gaza City on November 3rd. She was receiving a large number of serious threats over the post on her Facebook and Instagram pages that includes the Quranic phrase, "There is no victor but God," and the Palestinian flag emoji. The police said the statement was inciting terrorism and violence. Her lawyer said the statement was posted on Abu Amneh's Facebook and Instagram pages by her PR team and has since been deleted. Bakr said the post published late on October 7 after the Hamas terror attack and the first IDF strike against Gaza was meant as the reaction to the war on both sides. Abu Amneh, who is 40, was held for 2 days and then released on bail on October 18 to house arrest. Bakr told CNN she has not been charged with any crime but has been banned from speaking about the war in Gaza for 45 days, Bakr added. CNN has repeatedly asked the Israel police for comment on Abu Amneh's case but has not received any response. Abu Amneh has spent the past 2 weeks holed up in her parents' house, even though her house arrest has ended. She's very afraid. She is scared of going back to her home. Bakr said people have put up Israeli flags around her house and made threats against her and shared where she lives on social media. Zero tolerance. Prominent Palestinian humanitarian lawyer Jawad Boulos told CNN the imprisonment of Palestinians, especially those who have not committed crimes, has been an important tool used by Israel in maintaining the occupation of Palestinians. He said that ever since Israel withdrew from the Gaza Strip in 2005, Israeli authorities have made concerted effort to silence Palestinians in the West Bank by imprisoning them. Boulos said that despite the odds being stacked against his client in the court system not built to establish justice for the Palestinians, some prisoners were freed in the past. That, he said, is no longer an option. When arrests are drawn when arrests are done in this way, it's unfathomable. Fathomable. Unfathomable, he told CNN. The Israeli State Attorney's Office said in a statement that there should be zero tolerance for those who publish explicitly and even implicitly expressions of support for the enemy and his criminal acts against the citizens of the country. The state attorney's office have also made it easier for the police to open investigations into alleged instances of this act, according to the statement. The crackdown is creating an atmosphere of fear among Palestinians. One Palestinian resident of Jerusalem, Yasser, told CNN he believed the Palestinians could be arrested at any moment for what they post online related to Gaza, even if they express sympathy about the Palestinian child killed or injured after the Israeli airstrike. If I were to write about how airstrikes on Tel Aviv are bad, they probably wouldn't mind. But if I said airstrike on Gaza are so bad, they will arrest me for it, he said. They are fighting on every front online they are fighting on every front online, in the street, in the news, everywhere. No one is allowed to say a word. If you want to talk about the truth here, you are not allowed. Adili, another Palestinian resident of Jerusalem, told CNN. Both Adili and Yasser asked CNN not to publish their last names due to concerns about the consequences of speaking to the media. Adeli said he was feeling ashamed and embarrassed for not being able to express support for Palestinians in Gaza or denounce the Israeli airstrike. The risk of doing that was too high, he said. But the consequences of expressing sympathy with Gaza could soon become even more serious. Under current Israeli law, the Ministry of Interior has the authority to revoke the citizenship or residency of anyone who is convicted of taking part in terror activity, as defined by the counterterrorism law. However, Israel's Minister of Justice Yariv Levin said last week that he and Minister of the Interior Moshe Albed were looking into the possibility of widening the scope of the law to include the authority to revoke the citizenship of people who publicly support, incite, or praise terror. At the same time, the Israel's far-right Minister of National Security, Itamar Ben-Gvir, has made it one of his priorities to combat what he calls the incitement of terrorism online. He has established the task force focused specifically on incitement on social media and has led calls for a stricter approach to the issue. Ben Gvir has been convicted in the past for inciting anti-Arab racism and supporting terrorism. Bakr, the lawyer, said that some of the arrests and Ben Gvir's rhetoric were an extreme reaction to the brutal Hamas attack. Israel is going through the trauma, a terrible trauma, but the law did not change even if we are in a tragic situation. The criteria of what is illegal is the same criteria. The reaction is extreme, Bakr said. Fatina Abu Snaine, Dua's mother, told CNN she was terrified when her daughter was taken Dua has since been released on her or on house arrest, with the police checking in on her multiple times a day, her mother said. She has been sick every day since she came home. She haven't been able to eat, her mother added. The family said that after Dua was arrested, the police searches the house, turning it upside down. When Dua's 27-year-old brother Ibrahim got home, he too was arrested and remains in jail. He has done nothing wrong. They say he has incited and supported terrorism, but he hasn't posted anything on social media, and even if he did, he would never incite violence or say something wrong, Patina said, explaining that her older son, Abud, has been in jail for 8 months for protesting around the Al Qasa mosque in Jerusalem. He, Abud, also did nothing wrong, but because he's in jail, Ibrahim would not risk getting into trouble, she said. CNN has asked the Israel police for comment on the arrest of Ibrahim Abu Sneine, but has received no reply.